Disclaimer. This video, created with the utmost respect for the Hmong community, is solely for educational and informational purposes. It offers a historical and cultural exploration based on available sources, interviews, and research regarding the events surrounding the Fall of Saigon 50 years ago and their lasting impact on the Hmong people. We have put significant effort into ensuring accuracy and sensitivity in our presentation. While some perspectives may vary, and individuals and communities may interpret certain aspects of this complex history differently, we have strived to present a balanced view. The views expressed in this video do not necessarily reflect those of any government, organization, or entity mentioned. Viewer discretion is advised, particularly due to references to war, displacement, and trauma. We foster a community of respectful dialogue and critical engagement in the comments and invite you to be a part of it. If you want to honor the Hmong community's resilience and legacy, please consider sharing this video and starting a conversation with friends and family. To learn more about Hmong history and culture, check out the resources in your local library or the internet. Your support is invaluable in keeping these important stories alive. Thank you for watching and being an integral part of this journey. High in the misty mountains of Laos, a secret war unfolded, one hidden from the headlines and the world's attention. Few outside the region even knew it was happening. Fewer still understood the extraordinary bravery of the people who fought there, the Hmong. For generations, the Hmong lived in the remote highlands of Laos, farming the land and maintaining their traditions in peace. But in the 1960s, the Vietnam War spilled across borders. Laos became a battleground in a conflict that would reshape Southeast Asia. The United States, seeking to disrupt North Vietnamese supply lines along the Ho Chi Minh Trail, turned to the Hmong for help. The CIA launched a covert operation, recruiting and training Hmong fighters to resist communist forces. Thousands of Hmong men and boys answered the call, forming a secret army under the leadership of General Vang Pao. They fought bravely alongside American operatives, carrying out dangerous missions, gathering intelligence, and rescuing downed U.S. pilots. The Hmong risked everything, facing overwhelming odds and relentless attacks from North Vietnamese and Pathet Lao forces. Their courage came at a devastating price. Villages were bombed, crops destroyed, and entire communities uprooted. The Hmong became targets for their alliance with the United States. Their homes were burned, and they were forced to flee for their lives. Families were torn apart, separated by violence and chaos. When the U.S. withdrew from Southeast Asia in 1975, the Hmong were left behind. Many faced persecution, imprisonment, or death. Thousands fled across the Mekong River, risking everything for a chance at survival and freedom. The secret war remains one of the most significant and least acknowledged chapters of the Vietnam War. The Hmong story is one of resilience, courage, and hope, echoing across generations and continents. The year was 1975. The Vietnam War was coming to an end. The world watched in disbelief as Saigon, the capital of South Vietnam, fell. For the Hmong people, it was a moment of terror. The Americans, their allies, were leaving. They were now alone, facing an uncertain future. The Hmong knew they were in danger. The Pathet Lao, the communist forces, saw them as enemies. They had fought alongside the Americans, and now they would face the consequences. Their only hope was to escape, to flee their homes, to find safety in a new land. This is the story of their journey, a journey of loss, of courage, and of an enduring spirit that refused to be broken. The Americans were gone. For more than a decade, the Hmong had fought alongside the CIA in a secret war, risking their lives to disrupt North Vietnamese supply lines and protect American interests in Laos. The promises made to the Hmong people, safe haven, protection, a future in exchange for their loyalty, seemed to vanish into the thin mountain air as the last helicopters left Southeast Asia. Left to face the Pathet Lao alone, the Hmong felt betrayed, abandoned by the very nation they had risked everything for. Many recalled the words of General Vang Pao, their leader, who had warned that without American support, their people would be hunted. Fear settled like a heavy fog over their ancestral lands. Stories spread of entire villages disappearing overnight, families fleeing into the jungle with nothing but the clothes on their backs. The Pathet Lao, fueled by a deep resentment for the Hmong's allegiance to the Americans, saw them as traitors, collaborators, a threat to their newly established communist regime. Survivors remember the terror of soldiers arriving, searching for anyone who had worked with the Americans. Their victory in Saigon had come at a cost, and they sought retribution against those who had aided their enemies. Thousands of Hmong were rounded up, imprisoned, or executed. Others vanished into the mountains, beginning a desperate journey as refugees. The beautiful mountains, once a place of peace and sanctuary, transformed into a hunting ground. For the Hmong, the betrayal was not just political, it was personal, a wound that would shape their identity and legacy for generations to come. Word spread like wildfire through the whispering bamboo forests. The Pathet Lao were coming. Hmong families, once filled with laughter and the warmth of shared meals, were now gripped by terror. The echoes of their children's laughter were replaced by the chilling silence of fear. They knew the stories, the whispers of the Pathet Lao's brutality, their ruthlessness towards those deemed enemies of the state. Their homes, their ancestral lands, no longer offered safety. Families huddled together, whispering prayers for protection, for guidance, for a miracle that would shield them from the approaching storm. The decision to flee, to leave behind the life they had always known, was not an easy one, but it was a matter of survival. Staying meant risking imprisonment, torture, even death. They had to escape, to disappear into the vast wilderness, to become shadows in their own homeland. Under the cover of darkness, they fled. Families carrying little more than the clothes on their backs and the hope for a future free from persecution began their treacherous journey. The elderly, their faces etched with generations of wisdom and now fear, struggled to keep up. Mothers clutched their infants close, stifling their cries to avoid detection. Every rustle of leaves, every snapping twig sent shivers down their spines. They were hunted, their path was fraught with danger. Dense jungles teeming with unseen predators, treacherous mountain passes, and the ever-present threat of being discovered. Their destination, the Mekong River, a swirling, unpredictable force of nature that represented both a barrier and a lifeline. Across its muddy waters lay Thailand, a beacon of hope, a sanctuary from the horrors that pursued them. But first, they had to survive the perilous journey, a gamble with fate where the stakes were life and death. The darkness held its breath. In the hushed whispers of the night, fear traveled faster than the wind. Stories, fragments of nightmares, circulated through the Hmong villages. The Pathet Lao were not merciful. They were ghosts, shadows that haunted the forests and valleys, their cruelty as palpable as the humid air. Those who stayed behind, who clung to their homes and ancestral lands, risked a fate worse than death. Old amulets, passed down through generations, were clutched tightly. Prayers whispered in the ancient Hmong tongue filled the darkness. Pleas for protection against an enemy that seemed to see everything, hear everything. The fear wasn't just for themselves, but for their children, their future generations. The thought of their little ones facing such brutality was unbearable. They had to act, and they had to act fast. Fear was a heavy cloak they wore, a constant companion that drained their spirits and stole their sleep. The laughter of children, once a symphony of joy echoing through the valleys, was silenced, replaced by anxious whispers and the hurried packing of meager belongings. The weight of their decision pressed down on them: abandon their homes, their history etched into the land, or face the consequences. The looms, once alive with the vibrant colors of Hmong textiles, lay silent. The intricate patterns, woven for generations, seemed to weep with the shared sorrow of their people. Life as they knew it was unraveling thread by thread, leaving behind a raw ache of loss. Their homeland, once a sanctuary, had transformed into a prison of fear. Escape, however perilous, offered the only glimmer of hope. Under the cloak of darkness, a silent exodus began. Families carrying their most precious possessions, a worn photo, a handful of rice, their children, moved like phantoms through the jungles. The elderly, their backs bent with age and worry, leaned heavily on their walking sticks, their steps slow but determined. They were leaving behind the only life they had ever known, but they carried their resilience, their unwavering spirit with them. The moon, a silent witness to their plight, cast long, eerie shadows as they navigated treacherous mountain paths and waded through rushing streams. Their journey was fraught with danger, each step a gamble against the unknown. but they were fueled by a desperate hope, a burning desire to reach safety, to protect their families, to keep their culture alive. They were the Hmong, a people known for their resilience, and they would not be broken. The Mekong River, a formidable natural barrier, awaited them. Its currents, strong and unforgiving, had claimed many lives. Under the cover of darkness, they gathered on its banks, whispering prayers, clutching their children close. Makeshift rafts, cobbled together from bamboo and banana leaves, offered their only hope of passage. Each splash of the oars, each creak of the flimsy vessels sent shivers down their spines. The river seemed to whisper tales of those who had come before, those who had been swept away by its unforgiving embrace. But they pressed on, their determination fueled by the glimmer of hope that lay on the other side. For the Hmong, survival was not just about staying alive. It was about preserving their identity, their culture, their very soul. Their perilous journey was a testament to their unwavering spirit, a testament to the enduring strength of the human will. The shores of Thailand offered a fragile safety, a temporary haven from the horrors they had left behind. As the Hmong refugees stumbled onto the banks of the Mekong, exhausted and emotionally drained, they were met by a sea of faces, others who had also braved the perilous journey to freedom. The camps, hastily erected, were a stark contrast to the lush green mountains they once called home. The air was thick with the smells of unfamiliar food and the murmur of conversations in their native tongue. Amidst the chaos, strangers shared what little they had, drawing strength from the knowledge that they were not alone. Life in the camps was a constant struggle for survival. The tents, often overcrowded and lacking basic necessities, offered little protection from the elements. Long lines snaked their way through the camps as people waited patiently for their meager rations of rice and beans. Disease spread quickly in the camps and unsanitary conditions, and medical care was scarce. The days were long and monotonous, punctuated by the cries of children and the ever-present fear of the unknown. The uncertainty of their future weighed heavily on the minds of the Hmong refugees. They had escaped the horrors of their homeland, but what lay ahead? Where would they go? Would they ever see their homes, their ancestral lands again? The weight of these questions hung in the air, a constant reminder of the fragility of their existence. Yet amidst the hardship and uncertainty, the Hmong spirit endured. They clung to their traditions, their stories, their language, finding solace and strength in their shared heritage. Despite the hardships of camp life, the Hmong people sought ways to recreate echoes of the home they had left behind. The melodies of traditional Hmong instruments, fashioned from bamboo and gourds, drifted through the camps, weaving threads of comfort and familiarity into the fabric of their temporary existence. The rhythmic beat of the king, a traditional bamboo mouth organ, evoked memories of village celebrations, of weddings and harvests, of a life lived in harmony with nature. Underneath makeshift shelters, elders shared ancient stories with the younger generation, stories of their ancestors, of their history, of their values. These stories, passed down orally for generations, were more than just entertainment. They were a lifeline to their past, a way to preserve their cultural identity in the face of unimaginable loss. The Hmong language, with its unique tones and rhythms, became a sanctuary, a way to connect with their roots and find solace in the familiar cadence of their mother tongue. The loss of their homeland cut deep into the soul of the Hmong people. Their lives were intertwined with the mountains, their spirits rooted in the land. Now, separated from their beloved mountains, they grappled with a longing for a place that seemed lost forever. The pain was most acute for the elders, who carried the weight of generations past. Yet, even in grief, the Hmong found resilience. They carried their heritage with them, a testament to enduring strength. After months, sometimes even years, in crowded refugee camps, a glimmer of hope finally emerged for many Hmong families: resettlement in the United States. The journey was long and tiring, filled with the roar of airplane engines and, honestly, the strangeness of a world they had only seen in pictures. As they stepped off the plane, the air was crisp and unfamiliar, and they carried with them a mix of emotions: anxiety about the unknown, relief at reaching safety, and, a flicker of hope for a brighter future. America greeted them with a whirlwind of sights and sounds: Towering buildings scraped the sky, a stark contrast to the rolling hills of their homeland. Cars zipped by in a blur of color, and the air just buzzed with a constant, unfamiliar energy. Everything felt different: the food, the clothes, the language, and the Hmong families found themselves navigating a world that seemed both exciting and, well, overwhelming. One of the biggest challenges facing the Hmong community was the language barrier. The melodic tones of their native tongue were a world away from the unfamiliar sounds of English. Simple conversations, like ordering food or asking for directions, became daunting tasks. Children thrown into American schools struggled to understand their teachers and classmates, and their silence was often misinterpreted as shyness or disinterest. Despite the challenges, the Hmong people approached this new language with their characteristic resilience. Families gathered in living rooms, huddled around borrowed English dictionaries, their determination fueled by a desire to communicate, to understand, and to be understood. Community centers became hubs of learning, with volunteer tutors patiently guiding them through the intricacies of English grammar and pronunciation. Laughter and frustration often filled the air, but the Hmong people were determined to bridge the language gap, one word at a time. Beyond language, the Hmong community faced the challenge of adapting to a new culture. The customs and traditions they had known all their lives were different, sometimes even contradictory, to the norms of American society. Simple things like making eye contact or shaking hands carried different meanings in their new home. The collectivist spirit of the Hmong, where family and community always came first, sometimes clashed with the individualistic nature of American culture. Yet, even as they learned to navigate the complexities of American culture, the Hmong people remained fiercely proud of their own heritage. They sought to preserve their traditions, their stories, their language, passing them down to their children as precious gifts. Community centers became spaces where the vibrant colors of Hmong textiles adorned the walls, where the rhythmic beat of traditional music filled the air, and where the aroma of familiar spices transported them back to the mountains of their homeland. Life in America wasn't easy for the Hmong refugees when they first arrived. Many struggled to find jobs, facing discrimination and the challenges of rebuilding their lives from scratch. The trauma of war, the loss of their homeland, and the difficulties of assimilation left an indelible mark on many. Yet with their characteristic resilience and determination, they persevered, building new lives for themselves and their children, brick by brick. They embraced the opportunities that America offered, working hard to create a better future for their families. They instilled in their children the importance of education, seeing it as the key to success in their new homeland. And slowly but surely, the Hmong community began to thrive, their stories becoming woven into the rich tapestry of American life. They had faced unimaginable challenges, but their spirit remained unbroken, their resilience a testament to the enduring strength of the human spirit. The shadow of betrayal loomed large over the Hmong community. The promises made by the United States government, the assurances of support in exchange for their unwavering loyalty during the war, seemed to vanish into thin air. Left to face the aftermath of a conflict that wasn't theirs, many Hmong felt a deep sense of abandonment, their sacrifices seemingly forgotten. The emotional scars of war ran deep, etched into the very fabric of their being. Many carried with them the painful memories of loved ones lost, of villages destroyed, of a life uprooted by forces beyond their control. The weight of these experiences, often unspoken, cast a long shadow over their lives, a constant reminder of the sacrifices they had made and the promises that were broken. The trauma of war manifested in many ways. For some, it was the nightmares that haunted their sleep, the flashbacks that transported them back to the battlefields of a war they had never wanted. For others, it was the invisible wounds, the anxiety, the depression, the survivor's guilt that gnawed at their souls, making it difficult to adjust to a life of peace. Many struggled to reconcile their experiences with their new lives in America. The cultural differences, the language barrier, the lack of understanding from the outside world often exacerbated their sense of isolation and alienation. Yet, even in the face of these challenges, the Hmong community found strength in their shared experiences, their collective resilience a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. The children of Hmong refugees, born in America yet raised with the stories, language, and traditions of their parents' homeland, have grown up at the intersection of two distinct worlds. In classrooms and city streets, they speak fluent English, excel in American schools, and participate in sports and clubs, embracing the opportunities of their new country. Yet at home, many switch seamlessly to Hmong, helping parents navigate paperwork, translating at doctor's appointments, and honoring family traditions. The echoes of their parents' past, stories of war, displacement, and resilience, shape their sense of self. According to a 2019 Pew Research Center study, over 60% of Hmong American youth report feeling a strong connection to their cultural heritage, even as they adapt to American life. This duality is visible during New Year celebrations, when young people wear traditional clothing and perform ancestral dances before returning to their daily lives as students, professionals, and friends in a multicultural society. For many, the challenge lies in balancing the expectations of their elders, who often value obedience, family honor, and cultural preservation, with the freedoms and individualism celebrated in American society. Dr. Mai Mua, a Hmong American scholar, notes, "There's a constant negotiation of identity. Young Hmong Americans are not just translating language, but also values and worldviews. Intergenerational tensions can arise over career choices, dating, or even the use of the Hmong language. Some youth feel pressure to succeed academically and professionally, carrying the hopes of parents who sacrificed everything for a better future. Yet, these young people also serve as vital bridges, interpreting not just words, but cultures, helping their families adapt while forging new paths for themselves. Through community organizations, cultural festivals, and social media, they are redefining what it means to be Hmong American, preserving their heritage while embracing the possibilities of their new homeland. Their journey is one of resilience, adaptation, and hope for the generations to come." 50 years have passed since the fall of Saigon, yet the echoes of that moment still shape the lives of the Hmong community in America. Despite the ongoing challenges, language barriers, cultural dislocation, and the trauma of war and displacement, the Hmong have blossomed in ways few could have imagined. Like seeds carried by the wind, searching for fertile ground, the Hmong planted their roots in a new land. They brought with them not only memories of the mountains of Laos, but also the wisdom of their ancestors, the strength of their traditions, and the hope for a better future. Their resilience has become a source of inspiration, especially for the younger generations, who balance the weight of history with the promise of new opportunities. Across the United States, Hmong communities have flourished, creating vibrant cultural centers, establishing successful businesses, and preserving their unique heritage through festivals, music, and art. Hmong Americans have made significant contributions to their adopted country as doctors, lawyers, teachers, entrepreneurs, and public servants, while never forgetting the sacrifices of those who came before them. They have also become powerful advocates for social justice, drawing on their own experiences of displacement and survival to speak out for others. Through activism and education, they raise awareness about the plight of refugees worldwide, reminding America of its promise as a land of hope and opportunity. The Hmong continue to work tirelessly to combat discrimination, foster understanding, and build bridges between cultures. Their story is a testament to the enduring strength of the human spirit, a story of resilience, adaptation, and the unbreakable bonds of family and community. Even in the face of adversity, hope endures, passed from one generation to the next, like a cherished heirloom. The journey from the jungles of Laos to the streets of American cities was fraught with hardship and loss. Many Hmong families arrived with little more than hope and the clothes on their backs, carrying memories of loved ones left behind and dreams for their children's future. Today, the Hmong people are scattered across the globe, yet they remain united by their shared history and indomitable spirit. Their reunions are filled with both joy and remembrance, honoring the past while looking toward the future. The legacy of the Hmong is a beacon of hope for generations to come, a living reminder that even in the darkest times, the seeds of resilience can blossom into a future filled with promise, pride, and possibility. In conclusion, 50 years after the fall of Saigon, the Hmong people stand as a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity. Their journey has been marked by loss, hardship, and the enduring scars of war. yet their spirit has never been broken. Like bamboo in the wind, they have bent but never broken. Their resilience is woven into the fabric of their being. In a new land, they have built new lives and communities. The Hmong story is a tapestry of resilience woven with courage, hope, and an enduring spirit. If this story moved you, support Hmong communities in your area, share their legacy, and help amplify their voices. Subscribe to our channel and share this video to honor their journey and ensure their story continues to inspire. Thank you and see you soon.